Okie dokie. Hello again.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
Hi.
welcome to our second life. We are doing the cold read for episode 5 of our podcast, Nothing Happens in Hollow Creek. I am Abby Tape, and I voice Eli.
I'm John Williams. I voice Miles, Sheriff, some other people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Abigail Diamond. I voice Jordan and Dolly.
Yeah. I don't remember who else I voiced. But yeah. So we're just going to do the cold read now.
Sinclair Street sits low in Hollow Creek's stomach, between the old bus depot and the road that climbs toward the high school. Brick duplexes, sagging cables, a bend of the creek you can't quite see but you can hear. At 12B, the porch light glowed the color of weak tea. Caleb Dawes stood under it, with 3 soaked college kids at his back, looking every bit like bad news blown in on the storm.
If you're from the church, I already told you no. If you're selling anything, I don't want it.
It's Caleb, Morgan. Sorry. It's Caleb, Morgan. You know why I'm here? Now listen, I brought folks who've seen it, and I wouldn't say a word on your steps if it wasn't about Isaiah. One dark eye appeared in the gap. Tired, sharp, and not in the mood.
You've got some nerve.
Always did. Give me 30 seconds, then you can slam it on me.
College kids and a microphone. Cute. Fine. In. Shoes off. I'm not letting the creek live in my carpet.
Her place was small and clean, coffee and lemon cleaner in the air. A couch, a crooked table, a corkboard pinned with flyers and fading photos. Isaiah Miller's face watched them from the fridge, the wall, the end table. Different smiles, all out of date.
Sit. Don't drip. Say what you can to say, Caleb. I'm not in the mood for ghost stories. We're not here for stories. We're here because what happened to you is happening again, and it's happening louder.
I've seen the same thing you saw by the creek. The edges, the faces in the glass.
And it's talking in my head now, using my voice.
It's talking to you?
Started on the radio, now it just shows up. Says the same thing you heard. Don't look. Morgan's jaw clenched. Her eyes drifted, just for a second, to the old handheld radio on the shelf by the kitchen.
First night it talked to me, I was out behind the bus depot, following rumors about kids catching rides. Static on my radio, then my brother's voice coming through thin and wrong, telling me not to look. I looked anyway. Walked down to the creek. Saw faces under the water in that gutter drain. One of them was Isaiah. Don't care what anybody says.
Flash flood watch remains in effect. Residents in low-lying areas should be prepared to relocate to Hollow Creek High School gym and stadium if water levels continue to rise. The storm was drawn in a circle, from the creek up the hill, from the door to the field.
6 years ago, they wrote Isaiah off as a likely runaway before they ever did the work. We've seen the phrase over and over. Same handwriting, same names it lands on. Yours, Rodriguez, Cho. Folks who don't look like the Whitakers and the Sinclairs. We thought we were chasing negligence. Turns out, negligence is what this thing eats.
I told you to stop looking back then. Thought I was saving you. All I did was leave you alone with a side and no answer. I'm not proud of that.
Understatement of the year. You dragged me out to the quarry, told me we could trap it. We buried a man instead. Then the sheriff patted my hand, told me I was processing grief, and closed Isaiah's file like he was helping. The worst part wasn't losing him. It is watching how fast everybody else decided they were done caring.
Morgan, listen. This storm is giving it cover. Power's flickering in the low streets. Files are getting wet and lost. Posters are floating into the ditch. It's cleaning house. But for once, the town's all going to get shoved in the same direction, up that hill into one place with lights big enough to pack a punch.
Caleb spent years mapping this thing. He's got a formation, a way to pin it. With you, we could have the three people who have really seen it. You, Jordan, and Caleb. That's the triangle. Miles is the mark. I keep the stadium lit and make sure people are looking where they need to. You already tried something like this. You said, we can't stop it, and a man died. Why should I trust you now?
You shouldn't trust me. You should trust what you know. It's not letting go of you, and it's sure as hell not letting go of him. Back then, I had three. Shit. Back then, I had half the rules and a lot of anger. Now I know what it hates. Light, attention, being named. For the first time, I got all the pieces. A marked door, a town about to gather under floodlights, and three people who've seen it, and are still standing. I grew up defending this place. Nothing ever happens in Hollow Creek. People just drift, run away. I believed your brother did too, because that's what everyone told me. I'm not proud of that. I'm not asking you to forgive me, but I don't want anyone else's family fed that line when something in the creek decided they were convenient.
If we walk away now, it keeps feeding quietly, and it keeps saying nothing happens here. If we drag it under those stadium lights in front of everyone, even if they lie to themselves later, they'll have to lie over something they saw.
Morgan stared at them, then at Isaiah's photo on the fridge, at the word missing half faded along the bottom, at the memory of the sheriff's careful, practiced sympathy.
If I say no, I get to keep one stupid, selfish little story in my head that maybe he caught a bus and he'll come back someday. If I say yes, I'm admitting what I saw in that dream was real, that he's gone for good.
I don't think there's a version of this where he walks back through that door. I wish there was, but there is a version where nobody gets to call him a runaway again, where his name is in the right file, where this thing doesn't get to do it to another sister.
Okay, but if I'm in this, Caleb doesn't play leader. He runs every call through at least one of you.
Deal.
Something in her shoulders eased, just a notch. Not forgiveness, but maybe something that could grow next to it.
I didn't stop planning. Just stop talking about it. I've still got keys to the back halls and equipment room of the high school. I used to run concessions. There's a breaker panel under the home side bleachers that control the lights. This radio is the one it talked through the first time. If it lacks riding signal, we'll give it something on our terms. And if the main power goes, we'll be close enough to kick it back on. You've thought about this before? A scenario at the school? There aren't too many places with strong lights in town. When everybody tells you to move on, you either drown in it or start planning what you'll do if you ever get another shot. Looks like this is it.
Outside, the creek was climbing inch by inch. Up on the hill, the high school waited. Bleachers empty, floodlights dark, like a stage before curtain. The alert on their phones buzzed again, another reminder that the town would be heading there soon, whether it knew why or not.
Last chance, college kids. You can still tell yourselves that this is just... Let me do that again. Last chance, college kids. Y'all can still tell yourselves that it's just a bad week in a busted car.
We're way past that.
Somebody has to hit record.
Somebody's got to stand in the middle.
Let's go get ahead of the flood. Set your channels to 1.
5 people walked out into the storm, all out of time for easier stories. Up on the hill, the stadium waited, And for the first time in a long time, Hollow Creek was about to have something it couldn't call nothing anymore. Hollow Creek High sat on the hill like a concrete arc, its halls already filling with damp voices and the rustle of plastic ponchos. Families clutched trash bags and tote bins. Custodians dragged out cots and folding chairs. The storm sirens had done their job. The town was climbing. But the field outside was still dark. The floodlights waited, tall and unlit, against the bruised sky. Down one level, past the trophy cases and the smell of old floor polish, Caleb and Morgan moved like they'd done this walk before. Jordan hugged the duffel to her chest. Eli lagged just long enough to trace the wiring in her mind from breaker to press box.
Equipment rooms back there. Breaker panels in the back under the home stands. Once people start pouring in, they're going to lock most of these doors, so we don't got a lot of rehearsal time. Once I see the panel and the PA hookup, I can wing the rest. I've worked worse boards than a high school stadium.
You sure about this?
Sorry. You sure about this?
I'm just going to say, you sure about this, I think. Cut out the rest of it. Last chance. Said that already. You said it already. On the door. It's been knocking all week. Might as well open it somewhere we can slam it shut. The equipment room was a concrete throat under the home stands, all cinder block and old sweat. Racks of pads and helmets, coiled hoses, a rolling cart stacked with spare bulbs and half-empty paint cans. At the far wall, a gray metal breaker panel hunched like a confession booth.
Here's the deal. Caleb, Jordan, and I go up top, mark our points on the field before the stands fill. Eli, you get friendly with that panel in the PA. Miles, this is yours. Same radio it used to talk to me. You take it into the dark, close as you can get to the field without the crowd, and you say its name, out loud, on record. Invite it. It already lacks your voice. Give it a reason to follow.
And if it just takes me there?
And you keep moving till you hit grass. We'll be waiting. This creature loves near misses. It'll want the drama. It'll want the moment in the center. That's when we shut the cage.
Walkie check before you do anything. If I say abort, you get your buck. Walkie check before you do anything. If I say abort, oh my god, I keep trying to. Okay. Walkie check before you do anything. If I say abort, you get your butt back into the crowded gym and we rethink.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you start hearing it in the stereo again, just remember, it needs you more than you need it. It picked you for a reason. That means it's stuck with you, same as you are with it.
You can just cut out the in stereo part if you want. So, and if you start hearing it again, just remember.
Okay.
But that's fine. We'll actually highlight and hit a backspace on it. That'll make it look. You need the end gone as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Hit again. Okay.
And if you start hearing it, again, just remember, it needs you more than you need it. It picked you for a reason. That means it's stuck with you, same as you are with it.
Thanks. It makes me feel marginally better.
You want it to latch? Turn your light off. Things like that always comes easier when. Did you sneeze?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's going on? Okay, let's do it again. All right. You want it to latch?
I think we have someone on our live.
Oh, we do?
Someone's watching.
Let me, hold on.
Hello, one viewer.
Hello. Oh, they give us a thumbs up. Yay! Okay. Where am I? You want it to latch? Turn your light off. Things like that always come easier when they think they're doing the hunting.
Miles looked at the radio, the little plastic talk button worn shiny, and then at each of them in turn. Eli's jaw clenched. Jordan's hands white-knuckled around the duffel strap. Caleb's eyes tired but steady. Morgan's anger banked into something sharper. If this goes wrong, and it ends up being just audio for the episode, tell them I didn't run. Not this time.
We're not doing a memorial mid-roll, Miles. We're going to cage it and come back mad about the paperwork.
Quit rehearsing your last words and get to work, son.
They left him there under the stands, the concrete humming faintly with the weight of a town gathering overhead. Miles has walked until the hallway pinched in and the exit sign behind him was the only light left. He stood just shy of the tunnel that opened onto the 50-yard line, where the field waited as a blank dark plate. He could smell wet grass and rubber track, hear the distant murmur of families finding seats under the stadium roof. Miles Calloway, who had spent his whole life saying, "Nothing ever happens in Hollow Creek," do I need to remove these lines? Took a breath and invited something to prove him wrong. This is Miles Calloway. I know you're there. I know your name. The periphery. The thing that hates the light and lives where we don't look. You've been learning my voice all week. On the radio, in the car, in my head. You want in? Fine. I'm right here. Come show me your face. Tell me what you want to tell me. The radio hissed like a held breath. For a second, nothing moved. Then the air in the tunnel went thin like altitude. The exit sign flickered. The static on the radio thickened, layering his own voice back at him. We're going to skip that. He stepped closer with the pressure in the dark, bending sound, pushing at his eardrums. Miles's skin crawled as his muscles tensed.
Miles, you good?
It heard me. It's here. I'm coming to you. He clicked off his phone screen completely. No more backup light, just the red glow of the exit sign at his back and the invisible weight of something pacing him in the dark. On to scene 3.
Feeling the flood.
Up on the hill, Hollow Creek High had turned into an arc. Families crammed into the homestands, wrapped in team blankets and trash bags, watching the rain chew on an empty field. To them, it was just a bad storm. What in God's name do you think you're doing in the press box?
Sheriff, I can explain.
You're trespassing. Get out of here now. No more. No more. No more looking. No more names. His eyes didn't quite catch the light. For a heartbeat, Henry's hollow stare flashed through Miles's uncle's face.
Okay, you're right. They'll trust you more than some college kid with a mic. Hold on. Okay, you're right. They'll trust you more than some college kid with a mic. There's a little recording booth right there. Mic's patched straight into the PA. You step in, tell everyone to stay seated and calm, and I'll ride the levels out here so they actually hear you over the storm. Your voice, not mine.
The words, your voice, landed exactly where she needed them to. His shoulders squared, Sheriff Calloway doing the talking. That, and at least felt like order. Fine. We'll do this properly. Don't touch anything till I'm done.
Mike's right in front of you. When the red light's on, you're live.
Hey, this thing's jammed. Ma'am, open this up. I said open. Open. Stop looking. Stop saying it.
Not this time.
She left him pounding on the booth door, his channel dead and the periphery's whisper caged with him. Then Eli turned back to the main board and grabbed the one thing the creature hated most. On the 50-yard line, Miles squinted into the rain. The pressure around him tightened, like the whole storm had decided he was the drain. It's here. Can't see it, but it's all over me.
Just give me a second. Points go outward, backs to Miles. Eyes open on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm also going to test this out. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
Like
that.
the banging, yeah.
Yeah, for the door.
Okay.
It can be hard to find those online.
Another person joined our live.
I'll welcome in too.
Hello.
Hello. Starting from Caleb. Caleb took the near sideline. Jordan braced on the visitors' 40. Morgan planted herself ankle deep in the end zone mud. They turned their backs to the 50 and opened their eyes into the storm. 3 lines of sight, 3 sides of a cage the periphery had never had to reckon with. Feel that, you bastard. No more easy exits. The thing circling Miles recoiled, like it had walked face first into a fence it didn't believe in. The pressure on him sharpened, closer, angrier. We are.
Miles, move. Center position, now.
He ran. The field felt longer than it had during any hometown game he had ever watched. Every step dragged, like the air wanted him stuck at the edge. But every direction the periphery shoved him toward already had someone staring into it.
Miles is in position. Miles face with Morgan. Good. Morgan, turn now. Eyes open, everyone. No blinking. Miles, look at Morgan. Good. Now.
Radio interference. Oh, it's angry. Jordan, it's your turn. Turn now. Caleb turned last, and the triptych was formed. Miles stood in the center. The wind twisted. The sound in the stadium dropped an octave. Inside the triangle, it rose. Where their gaze lines met, light bent wrong. Rain curved around a space that didn't have a body. Angles stacked on angles until there was a shape that hurt to look at, like a collection of floaters from your eyes gathering and then folded into sheets.
I see you. I see you.
In its seething edges, faces flickered. A boy with Isaiah's cheekbones. A woman clutching a candle that had never gotten its vigil. A dozen blinks of people the town had been told moved on. Don't blink. Don't you dare blink.
I'm not sure how much longer I can hold.
You don't get Isaiah. You don't get to make him a ghost story. You hear me? You look back at me.
You don't get to live in the gaps anymore. You don't get to wear our voices. The town sees you. We see you.
Periphery of Hollow Creek, we name you, and we end you. You are not nothing. You are not runaway. You're done.
She threw the mane. The stadium took a breath, and the lights came on. 4 towers of light woke up at once, turning every raindrop into a needle of glass. Shadows died on the turf. For the first time, the thing that lived on the edges had nowhere easy to go. The light washed its surface in wrinkles and crevices. It twisted, trying to fold sideways off the field, but every direction it reached was pinned by a stare. 3 on the grass, hundreds in the stands.
Don't look away. Look at the 50 right now.
In the homestands, people who'd lived on rumors and polite silences suddenly had something awful and real to aim their eyes at. Some parents covered their kids' faces. Others couldn't blink if they tried. The periphery had spent a long time living on the edges. Now every edge ended in someone staring straight at it. It shrank down to a knot of shadows the size of a fist, screaming in voices that weren't its own. Then it tore, ripping wet canvas in a grease fire, and was gone like a sizzling heat in a cold rain. The field was just a field again. Mud, lines, 4 drenched silhouettes, but the air felt lighter.
Then the sky started giving things back. Photos the creek had swallowed dropped onto the 50-yard line. Ink, running but faces clear enough. Bracelets, keychains, ID cards. A necklace someone had last seen in a missing poster photo. Things that should have been tagged and bagged years ago.
Isaiah, Hollow Creek High. Hey, Zay. We see you.
In the stands, more hands reached down and came up shaken, holding pieces of lives they've been told had drifted. Names that had only been spoken in past tense suddenly had weight again.
This is Daniel. That's her bracelet.
The periphery of Hollow Creek was dead. Whatever else was waiting in the dark corners of the world, this one was done. On that field, under those lights, a town that liked to say nothing ever happens here had finally seen something it couldn't explain away. And for the first time in a long time, when someone went missing from Hollow Creek, nobody was quite so quick to call it nothing anymore. Tag on the end.
Mm-hmm. We killed the one in Hollow Creek, dragged it out of the dark, and watched it die in the floods. But things like it don't need this town. They go anywhere the light is a stranger, anywhere a missing person gets called a runaway, so we don't have to feel guilty. If you want to starve whatever's waiting on your edges, start by looking for the people no one else is looking for.
So in other words, you're interested in hunting more of these haints?
I think we are. That was good.
The end of Hollow Creek.
All right. And that would be the end of our cold read here on episode 5.
Woo!
Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure to tune into our Spotify when we actually drop the actual episodes and not like with our, tidbits in there. So yeah.
Our updates for when episodes will be out will be on our Instagram.
Yep. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, we got to record this.